Welcome back, everybody. We've got. I feel like I've got a lot to talk about, but the thoughts, they scramble. So I'm going to make an attempt to cover everything that I mentally want to cover. We will see how that works. Zoidberg has spent the better part of this week in, let's call it, testing. I've gone through, I've gone through a number of shocks to arrive at where I am now. Shocks and springs. I started with the TRX 4 high lift, long arm, whatever those are called. I started with those, and I've tried a handful of different springs on them. I have also tried them in the pen spring mod configuration in an attempt to try to find a length that was a little more suitable to the vehicle. I have tried the 110 millimeter Desert Lizards in both the droop configuration and the regular configuration. I only have a picture of the droop configuration because that's what I tested second. They just felt too long. Like they give the rig too much down travel. I also tried a set of old, I believe, Traxxas GTRs. I don't know the springs. What is on here now are 10-3 shocks. With axial purples, Capra springs, and 50 weight. And what I've found with this setup is that the limitation now is the limitation of the tire. The sidewalls are pretty soft, and the foams, I think, could be more firm. I also went through and had to replace about half of the rod ends, and that's not the rod ends, the hollow balls, and that's a whole different complaint to issue. As you can see here, just because you've got a 5.8 millimeter hollow ball, like they come in like 8 different flavors at least. And in the spots where they mount to the Capra axle, they have to be 7.5 millimeters wide. Because if they're not, you get a bunch of play in them, and the whole front end flops side to side. Which is the strangest thing, because it's something that isn't immediately diagnosable while driving. It feels like something will cut loose on you, and you're like, but why? Everything looks good. Yeah, I've definitely reached a point where I feel like I'm at the, let's call it the tractional limit of the Berserkers. And I don't think that's particularly the tire. I think it's because the foams that are in there are too soft. But the suspension is pretty well sorted now. I think I mentioned 50 weight. I had mentioned somewhere that what I wanted was a lightweight spring and a heavyweight oil, because you can do stuff like that where I'm just out. The rig can now outperform the tractional ability of the tire, which is kind of where I would say you want to be, but it's certainly where I want to be. I'm still trying to get the hang of turning both ends at once. So what hasn't occurred on film is just hours of what is essentially tedium, where I put a pair of shocks on, and then I bring it out and I drive it for a few minutes, and then I change something else, and I bring it out and drive it. And some stuff is immediately impactful. Like, I can tell right away, like, well, that worked or that didn't work. Also, I should mention gearing. I went to 48 pitch from the 32 pitch because I have a good selection of those 48 pitch pinions and spurs. And I sadly removed the 1456 32 pitch gearing, which is that nice round 4-to-1. But it was geared too low. So now it's 2581, which if you're ever interested, if your motor is set up for 1456, you can just throw 2581 on there and not even have to move anything. I didn't even have to move the motor. I was gonna put 24, but when I sized up the 25, it fit actually perfectly. It's like a perfect gear mesh. Let's see what this is. And now it has, I feel like, just the right amount. And the shock length, how I arrived at the, I want to say, I'm 99% sure these are not the Capra OE shocks. These are the 10-3 shocks, because I believe the Capra shocks are now on the Vanimal. I would have to measure to be 100% sure, because they're only a few millimeters different. But the springs fit a little more snug lengthwise, which is why I think these are the 10-3s. And they seem, at least so far in this round of testing, to be the best sort of compromise between shock length, so side hilling ability, and clearing the ground performance. Because what I have noticed is that with that kicked skid, the front end wants to shove itself into the ground quite a lot. So as with most things, there is a compromise. Like, side hilling would like it better if it sat lower and had potentially a stiffer spring. But like stuff like this, you want it to be a little higher. Yeah, it's still, four-wheel steer definitely does not come natural to me. And that belly is pretty well in there. Yeah, that's not where I want to be at all. So, I mean, this is what a lot of time is spent out here with Zoidberg. This is what I do. Is I just attempt to get mentally around the operation of it. And then sometimes it'll do stuff like this, and then I'm like, well, am I even involved? The Berserker is not a remarkably good dirt tire. So in sections like this with transitions, it's tough. And then finding that right, I don't feel like I found Zoidberg's optimum wheel speed. Like right here, this is the weakness of this chassis design of my own. But the bump is there now. But that is, it's so mired. Come on. And they, like, I think, like, I will definitely double check, but I don't think I have a foam that is suitable for this, to put stiffer foams in, because I'm 99% sure that a stiffer foam is absolutely what I need. That is so hung right there. So I mean, it's tuning, but at the same time, it's practice. Because I definitely need more practice. It's a lot easier to build one, like right there, perfect view. So I say to myself, how do I extricate from that? Try to push it around. There we go. Nice. So my methodology is that of an empiricist, which is there is no perfect setup. I mean, if you have a bone stock TRX4 Sport and you ask someone what's a good place to start for, say, like shock oil weight or gearing or something like that, I mean, you can get responses. That's probably a problem. With this thing, I mean, it's not a Capra. So what would work for a Capra, probably not going to work for this. Oh, the rear's all askew. That's what's going on. So every time I make a change, even if it's small, it's effectively starting from scratch. So I'm trying to learn to drive four-wheel steer at the same time that I'm trying to tune this rig to handle. So it's not, I'm not searching for the perfect setup. I'm searching for the setup that most closely agrees with my ability to wheel it, which is tricky. This is definitely attempting to hit a moving target. Where that gets complicated is I'm the person both making the shot and moving the target. So it's tough to tell whether the change I'm making is working, on its own, or if it's working against me. Now, I mean, as it's set up now, this is probably the most capable thing here. Any limitations that Zoidberg meets are 100% from the guy turning the wheel. 100%. Now, is the setup one that someone with legitimate skill could wheel it better? I don't know. I only know what I can do, but at the same time, I don't know what my limitations are. I mean, I designed and built the thing. I don't think I mentioned, but it should have been visible in the picture before. I have, nope, right there. Nope, dropped it. I have added. Oh, see that was a feel good moment right there. I've added the Yeah Racing third member to the front axle. Try to get a little more weight up there. Low weight, more unsprung weight. Can't ever have enough unsprung weight. And I see no drawback to that part at all, other than installing it. My God, you basically need a bearing press to get the bearings in there. But I don't think I think that the addition of that part was actually perceptible. I don't think it was placebo. Like, I could feel a little more weight in the front end. It's a little more willing, Zoidberg is a little more willing to push a tire down. And I really can't feel any difference in low speed, even going up in gearing from an even 4-to-1 to, what am I at, like 3.25, 3.3. I'm sure that will get edited in. That's a little bit of a high breach there. See if we can actually, because Zoidberg used to be one of the best bumpers. See that ability to settle. Look at that. Look at it squash that rear end out like. That's very nice. Ooh. I find that with the four-wheel steer, the real utility of dig is forcing that front end back down. I think if that doesn't hook hard, I think we might be able to clear the chassis up there. Oh, that tire's mashing. Body a little stuck there. Oh no, turned it out. Hey. Yeah, I'm sure I had made a mention. Oh, that looks like a June bug. Look at that. I think I had mentioned early on that this is a rig that was never going to roll over and land on its wheels, and that was just me discounting the magical abilities of the J-Concepts bar shell, which lands on its wheels most of the time, really. So, is it done? I mean, is anything ever done? It did get the dry slide treatment on all pivot points, which means, I mean, that's kind of a commitment that some of the installed parts are going to be the installed parts, as it makes things a little messy. I just keep trying to go places where that thing is going to hang. But that's the point. That's how we learn. I'm going vertibird here. Let's go. And Zoidberg, not a wheel lifter. Look at that. That is nonsensical. He wants to keep all four wheels on the ground at all times. Straight up. See, I think the soft foam playing to strength here. Can I get off of it though? Yes. Nice. But again, it's about that compromise. So but I think just accidentally and incidentally, I think 2581 was a very fortunate choice. The gears are both old, and I had to butter them up. But that is the beauty of squirt wax-based chain lube for bicycles. I think anything would work if you're a real quietologist. You could use White Lightning or whatever's available, but squirt works great because I like a rig that makes this amount of noise right here, where the only thing you can hear is the lugs scraping on the ground. Well, and some Lexan catching, of course. Gotta have that. I think, again, I've incidentally arrived at the right amount of flex. It had a little too much before. I've got good body clearance. There's a little bit of contact right there, but we've got good body clearance. I'm beating this body up as I just constantly take this to spots where I'm like, I mean, we'll make it or we'll fall off. It really is a joy to drive. And that, doing a little pirouette. And every time I bring it out, it gets a little bit better. What this means in the grand scheme of things is that I feel like Zoidberg is getting close enough now in that now it's really fine point stuff. No more gross changes to be made, I don't think. So now it's going to be little stuff. I think 50 weight is pretty good. I think I could probably get away with 60 weight. I'm pretty happy with the tires. I think any weakness of the tire is purely contained in the foams, which I think are too soft. But these are 2.2s and they are short 2.2s. So I don't know if I have anything available to address them. Yeah, right there. That's the stuff. I don't know if that's a limitation in design or a limitation in the mind, where I'm not accommodating for it. Out this way. Because you can get out of it. I very, very seldom have to use reverse on this thing. It does really well. Just programming my brain which way to turn the wheel. We're getting there, you know, we're getting there. That's not on its wheels. So Zoidberg is certainly looking better enough that I can turn my attention back to some other rigs that need tuning as bad or more worser. So now I feel like I'm almost free to do that. I always want to get to a spot like this and be able to clear it, just because I feel like it would make a good part for the outro, and then I did. So as I made it, that will be the outro. So thanks for watching this small-ish update on the progress of the project that is Zoidberg. I think I just broke something. Yep. Almost made it. So in closing, thank you all for watching. Thanks for sticking through this process. I think you can see it there before I even put any little extra on it. Yep. So, capper front axles out of stock pretty much everywhere. So we will see. Yeah, that the truss is the only thing still holding that together. So we almost made it. This one, I mean, he's got enough juice. He'll be able to make the drive back inside. But Zoidberg down at least for a couple days. And just when he's looking so good. So little body movement. He's got just the right amount of pop now. Suspension seems pretty well sorted. He thanks you for watching. Oh, look at that! Look at that outside front. That really twists that. So I mean, chalk it down on the list. That's you saw it here, folks. That's the first part that I broke. That's my first broken part, other than like servo horns, and it was right there. The wheel fell in right there, and when I let go of the steering wheel, I heard it pop. So, Zoidberg, again, thanks for watching. I thank you for watching. Please be sure, subscribe if you haven't, drop a like, leave a comment below, express your condolences for the now on the shelf for a little while Project Zoidberg, and please do stay tuned for the next one, which I don't think will be Project Zoidberg content based on what I just did. So anyway, I had a good time right up until about 90 seconds ago. Thanks for watching, everybody.